Daimon is a strength-based Graveborn tank who actually specializes in dealing really strong scaling damage based on the enemy's max HP. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at his skills and abilities, his uses and team compositions, and whether it's worth investing your hard-earned resources into upgrading him. The first ability for Daimon that we're going to look at is his Blood Shield, because other abilities make reference to this ability. So basically, he steals health from the enemy with the highest HP and creates a shield out of that for himself, which lasts for 5 seconds. And once the shield expires, the remaining shield value will be returned to that enemy as HP. Now, the cool thing about this is it's based on the enemy's maximum health, and with skill ups, it becomes 26%. So it's stealing a very large chunk of the enemy's health, but also giving Daimon great survivability with that shield that it provides to himself. Now we have Daimon's ultimate ability, Soul Feast. Now this ability, he does some AoE damage, but then casts his Blood Shield. With max skills, he casts it on the 3 enemies with the highest max HP. This gives him a massive shield around himself due to the fact that it is using that Blood Shield ability, which is stealing their maximum health as a shield for Daimon. On top of that, while Daimon is using that shield, he will suffer 35% of the damage received by allies, but he cannot die as a result from it. But this is really nice because the shield values are going to be so high, he can quite happily take that extra damage. Daimon's next ability, Inanimate Companion, calls upon his doll Stitchy to go ahead and attack an enemy and deal some damage and stun them. On top of that, he's also going to provide some healing to Daimon, which is nice for that sustainability as well. The final ability, Forbidden Power, Daimon's just going to simply deal damage to an enemy and also take a little bit of damage himself. Now we'll take a look at the signature item, Stitchy. Now this one is a really nice ability for Daimon, giving him a few different effects from it. So basically what happens with this signature item, he's going to gain stats from the enemy when he's using that Blood Shield. So not only is he stealing maximum health, but now he's also gaining attack and defense while the shield is up. But then as you skill it up, it's also going to be if the enemy dies while he has that shield, he will permanently gain those stats. And then at the final upgrade at level 30, his Blood Shield is going to start lasting for 7 seconds. Now this may not seem super important, but it becomes really effective due to the fact that it limits the downtime where Daimon is not shielded and makes him a much more tanky unit. Also increases the durations that he does steal those stats from the enemies, making them much weaker as well. And finally, Daimon's Furniture, Dying Wish, means that enemies that have attacked Daimon will take increased damage. But then on top of that, when you get it to level 9, when Daimon dies, he's also going to shield his allies based on his max health, which could be clutch in some battles. Daimon is a fantastic unit right throughout the game. His ability to steal enemies' HP based on their max health makes him a real force in tower and campaign, because no matter how high the enemies scale, he's going to scale with them with his damage. He can work as your carry from the very start of the game all the way through into the end game. He is always in those top tier of units due to the way his damage scales, but also the way he steals the enemy's stats with his signature item. And he just has an amazing kit for not only survival, but also dealing really big damage as a tank. Early game, using Daimon as a carry, you can level him higher levels than the rest of your team, meaning he can sit in the front row very well and tank whilst also being your main source of damage. For an early game team for Daimon, Graveborn has such great support, so you can put Daimon in the front row. Next to him in the front row, you can use something like a Lucius or an Isolde. And then in that back row, depending on the situation, Graveborn have a lot of good supports. You can use things like Silas, Odin, Pharrell, Nara, and then you can always use Rowan in one of those slots as well to help support. And that will keep you having at least a 3-2 faction bonus, if not a 4 or 5 piece faction bonus, which is really powerful to get those extra stats in the early game. As we move into the late game, once your whole team is above 240, Daimon struggles a bit more to stay in the front row. It is still doable against certain team compositions, but because his Blood Shield takes time to ramp up, he often can be a bit squishy at the very start of the fight. So unless you have something like an Ulna whose Furniture makes the ally on the front row invincible for the start of the battle, he's normally going to find comfort in the back row. So an example team for Daimon that doesn't require any Celestial or Hypergeans would be Brutus in the front row, row because he does have his invincibility effect. So even if Brutus does take a bunch of damage, you have that guaranteed period where he's going to be protecting his allies behind him because he gets that invincibility. Then we have Rowan, who is fantastic in the front row due to the fact that he does have the invulnerability to damage every so often. So he can often sit in the front row as a support. He also has his potions, which are fantastic because they're going to heal allies. And with his signature item, he'll also have the energy potion, which is going to make everything happen a little bit faster. Now in the back row, obviously we're going to have something like Daimon. Then you can put Nara for the lockout as well. And then in that final spot, you can use something like a Pharrell, a Tassie, a Namora. Like I said earlier, any of those supports that are really going to help enable your team to survive and control the enemy team for Daimon to ramp up. So now that we know what Daimon does and how he is used, is he worth investing in? And the simple answer is yes. As for how far, for the signature item, because he can be your carry damage dealer from the very start of the game, when you unlock signature items, he is one that could well and truly be your first hero to get to 30 signature item. As we mentioned before, the extra few seconds on his blood shield is actually really effective. So getting him to 30 is completely fine and you will not regret that decision. As we look at furniture, 3 furniture is a really nice investment, getting a bit of that extra damage. 9 is also really nice to get on him. However, you can look towards getting a few of your other heroes to 3 furniture before going all the way on Daimon, due to the fact that your account will probably get some better progression by getting 3 other heroes to 3 furniture than just Daimon to 9. So that is where he is at, a fantastic unit from early game through to the late game, and can carry infinitely scalable due to that fact that his blood shield deals damage based on the enemy's max HP. Anyway, that is going to be it for Daimon. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.